So what we did here is we created a quick measure. Obviously, we created a visual out of it. That's what we are seeing here. Let us add the visuals on the filters. And why just that? We can also add some more of the relationships. So let us click on quick measure. Let us create the min category. Okay. We go to the financials and we'll take the minimum dividend yield. So I'm selecting the minimum dividend yield. I'm adding it as a base value. And for the category, I'm selecting structure. Add to category. And I click OK. So yeah, we can see here the dividend yield that we are seeing here. And out here, of course, it has been created. Dividend yield is calculated sums of financials and things like that. So that is how they have created it. I'm going to add another visual out here. So let's add dividend yield. Again, this is also quick measure. So that is the sum of the dividend yields that we have generated. And we are seeing the minimum dividend yield per sector is 22.70. That is the value that we are seeing here. Okay, let's come back to the worksheet out here, financials. Okay. So out here, we have the dividend yield that we are seeing here. Bringing it down over here, we have the maximum value of 12.661 and the minimum value is 0. So anyway, this is the dividend yield that we have taken. Earlier, we had taken the 52-week high value out here. And there we had selected 1589. That was the maximum value that we had got out there. So again, coming back on the software here. So this is the dividend yield that we've taken. If we want, we can also add another measure out here. So I click on modeling, I add a quick measure. Instead of quick measure, let's select a new measure. For the new measure, what are we taking the new measure's name as? Yeah, let's go back to modeling and click on new measure. We are taking the sum. Instead of taking it as a sum, we will take the price to book earnings is equal to, and let us take the sum. Now we have the entire gamut of entire list of functions that are available over here. So I'm just taking the sum x, or we'll just take sum of what? I'll take the price to book earnings, right? So it is price to book out here. See, out here in this we can read, yeah, price to book, and I'm closing this window and I click enter. So we have created the price to book earnings measure out here. Now let us bring it over here for this visual. Oops, I'm not here actually. I'll select this and I'll bring the price to book earnings out here. Now we can see here that the value is of course quite high compared to dividend yield that we have selected. We can go here and we can also make the changes here. We have added, so let us take dividend yield on the x-axis. Can we take it on the x-axis? No, we cannot. We've already taken it on the y-axis. So if I were to take these values on sectoral basis, what I'll do is I'll select the sector. I'll bring it over here on the x-axis. So on the x-axis, when I bring the sectoral values, of course, we can see that the book price to book earnings is the highest for the consumer discretionary and second highest for the consumer staples. And we see it's one of the lowest amongst the telecom services, maybe other sectors also, as we can see here. In case of information technology, it's high. In case of utilities also, it's low. But in case of telecom services, it's very low, really. Can't even, yeah, it's 11.15. So again, this is how you are creating a new measure that you are adding to your existing worksheet, and we'll also save it. So let's go on file, let's save this. Now if I click on manage relationship, right, we already have manage relationships. If you click on auto detect, there are no new relationships found, so I'll click close. I click close here as well. If I go back to the reports, out here I can see that we created a new measure rather quickly. Now this was for the 52-week high. If I want to do something similar for the 52-week low, again I'll click on modeling, I'll click on new measure, and out here the measure is what? 52-week low is equal to what? How do I take that as min? Yeah, so out here it's min of the 52-week low. I'll close this bracket. I click enter. So I can see here the 52-week low has been generated over here. This measure is generated. Now I'll drag it and drop it over here. No, wait, that we have to select this measure, this visual first. So I'm selecting on 52-week low and dragging and dropping it over here. So again, what do I see here? Well, this is the 52-week high that we had, and this is the 52-week low. Oh, that's too low. Okay, let's go back to the report, and I'll deselect this max value that we have here. So the 52-week low is what? 6.59. Now similarly, I'll take another measure for 52-week high. So let's click on new measure. Why am I doing it? Because I want to add the same out here on this particular visual. This is again going to be measure. We are taking 52-week high is equal to max of, let's scroll down over here and select the 52-week high. I'll close the parenthesis, click enter. It's already used in the column, so choose a different name. Okay, let's choose a different name. Let's do one thing. Hi, let's see if this is going to work. And I'll change this here as 52WK. And fine, let's click enter. Right, so it has now created a 52-week high. Yes, so that's what we have here. I'll drag it and put it. No, wait, we need to select the visual first, and then I'll drag it and drop it over here. Out here, the 52-week is high anyway, 1589. So obviously, we earn out here the low value 6.59. And if I take this out here on a what sector? Yeah, okay, let's take it on sector. Suppose if I take the sector and drag it and drop it out here on the x-axis in the visualizations. So this is how the 52-week week and 52 high sector wise will appear. So if I take industrials, its 52-week high is 256.40. The low is 30.59. In case of consumer discretionary, it's high. Yes, it is high, 1589, followed by the information technology, of course. This is how you are creating this is how you are using the modeling menu for creating new measures or quick measures. You can also create new columns and new tables. Let's go and click on manage relationships. What do we see here? Close this. Yeah, let's come out here and see it. So out here we're able to see that we have established two relationships between financials and gold. If we wish to add another worksheet out here, we can add it, and we can generate a new relationship between them as well. So let us do one thing. Let us quickly go to the report views here, and I'll also create a new page for the gold. Now we are working here. The page one was typically meant for the dividend yield sectoral analysis. Let's rename this page as sector analysis. And we can also add a text box out here. So what do I add here? Sector analysis, and I'll mention here 52-week high and 52-week low. We also have the sector analysis is for this, and the dividend yield analysis for, no, that's not actually, it's sector analysis again, and dividend yield and price to book earnings, price to book earnings comparison. Right, so this is how, okay, there is a typo here. dividend, and then you're right, yield. Oops. Quite a bit of those. This is how your overall usage of modeling menu will appear and look like. Of course, I'm going to keep saving this. It's working on it. I click on modeling again. Now let's work on new parameter. What if parameters lets you see how the data behaves under different conditions, add them to reports as slices, or reference them on in other DX operations also.